Hello, hello, I am turning on this microphone. Yes. Hey everybody. Welcome to... So, during the Cursed Conlang circus, there were a few submissions that attempted to use an extremely small number of phonemes, like comically small amount of phonemes for the funny. Of course, there was which was just one phoneme, just right? That was the whole translation. But then there were also some really tiny ones, like the Agma Schwa language, and those ones worked in quotation marks, as in the creators were able to make enough words to define every word of the required translation, often requiring extremely long words to do so. But I think it's fair to say that it would be difficult to create a naturalistic dictionary for languages with such small inventories without basic words needing to be more than 10 syllables long. So I'd like to look at a few real-world phonologies that are very small, and then I'd like to find a number that, through combinations and permutations, or, I don't know, just general math or whatever, can yield a sufficiently large pool of possible word combos within a realistic range of syllables. This whole little test here about naturalistic word counts compared to the syllable structure and phonotactics, we are going to create the smallest possible inventory, hopefully smaller than the smallest phonemic inventories in the real world. So, which languages in real life have the fewest phonemes? If you've been a conlanger for a while, you've probably already found out that the scholarship depends, but generally the winners of this contest are the central Rotokas of the Bougainvillean language family, with between 11 and 16 phonemes, depending on how you measure it. Then there's also the famous Piraha of the Mura family, with between 9 and 16 phonemes. Again, depending on how you measure it, and depending how strictly you define its vowel phonemes, Hawaii of the Austronesian family has between 13 and 33 phonemes. Pretty big range there. Then there's a ton of others that lie within the range of Hawaii's minimum and maximum scholarly considered phoneme counts. So the actual winner then is just kind of hard to determine, because Piraha has 3 tones that arguably makes it have 9 vowels, but also technically not. Rotokas has vowel length distinction, which is sometimes interpreted as being phonemic and sometimes considered as just being 2 vowels next to each other. Hawaiian also has that vowel length dispute, as well as a dispute on the existence of diphthongs or not. So since the lowest number seems to be sitting around 10-ish, no matter what, when you go to all those lowest estimates, we are going to keep that in mind, and I'm going to use Central Rotokas as the starting point, so I can be lazy and avoid using any diacritics. It's the one of them that doesn't use any diacritics, so there you go. So Central Rotokas' phonemes look like this: pataka, badaga, a-e-i-o-u. There you go, that's it. Keep that in mind, because now I need to ask a special question. How many words does the average language have? The answer is that it varies wildly and depends on one's definition of a word. Some people who have attempted to count the number of words in languages include every single inflection and every single conjugation, which I think is kind of cheating. Plus, we want to use the smallest number possible. For this, we're looking at lemmas or head words only. A lemma is the form of a word considered default by its speakers. Sometimes it's the root word itself, the most basic piece of the word that creates the basis for definition, but sometimes it's just some less inflected default form. It depends on the language. I'd say this is a fair way to define a word count, at least for this purpose. Which language has the most words? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh, Finnish has infinite words. You heard it here, everyone. You will not, however, find such a comprehensive dictionary. Wow. And what does Wikipedia say? Tamil, okay. Okay, well, Tamil is, the original language of the whole world. The whole world originated with the Tamil language. Everybody else is just like a child of Tamil, so obviously they'd have over 1 million words. Oh yeah, same with Korean, and then Portuguese. Oh, Finnish, you just went from infinity to 800,000. That's a downgrade. I know that my typical advice for a natural language project is to have your language have at least 2,000 different combinations when you put the lemmas or roots through a word generator. It's the inflection point, mathematically, after which I consider a language to be creative. And by that I don't mean it like as an opinion, but by creative I mean that it's literally enough combinations that every idea that would need to be discussed in everyday life can be expressed either with the lemmas on their own or with affixes and other alterations that can create more meanings. It also needs to be few enough that it's practical. If you have every sound in the IPA in your phonology and up to 3 syllables per word with a syllable structure that looks like Georgian, you're going to have millions of combinations to make potential words from. But that's not practical. That wouldn't happen in real life. Despite what that supposed Korean dictionary says, nobody knows millions of words, and human minds aren't built that way. There's a reason I had to specify that Santa's 400 plus tones can only be comprehended by a being of supreme intellect such as the Chimney Man. A normal human brain would start optimizing a truly massive set of words almost instantly. It's just what we do. And then you might also be like, but Toki Pona has only 120-ish words depending on what part of the community you engage in, and it handles the creativity part of language just fine. And no, I mean kinda, but no, not really. Like, Toki Pona is meant for simple communication about simple ideas. So is my finger tapping language Secret Handshake. So you could try to talk about meiosis or string theory in Toki Pona, and I would love to see you try in the comments if you want to torture yourself like that. But every sentence, or even every noun phrase, would be so cursed and cumbersome that it wouldn't be reasonable to call it naturalistic anymore. And while it is technically creative, in practice, it certainly is not. That 2,000 number that I choose when I create my lemma and root lists as the absolute minimum for a creative language is based on the most common number experts have come up with for fluency when learning a natural language. A long time ago, I did a video on zip progressions and how all languages express the zip pattern of word commonality. It's a logarithmic progression that shows that the most common words are used exponentially more than the least common words. By the time you're passing the 1,000 word mark or the 2,000 word mark, etc., you officially know how to communicate 80, 90, 95% of all situations that the language could require. This scale hypothetically continues forever, and no person knows 100% of a language, even if you speak it natively. I majored in English linguistics, and I certainly don't know 100% of English words, nor will I ever, nor will you. Basically, there have been a lot of studies, and they come up with different numbers of lemmas required to be memorized. But all of these studies at least come out with answers along a similar scale of magnitude to the 2,000 number that I generally use. This one from Universe of Memory says that 1,000 words gives you 80% of the language, 3,000 gives you 95%, 10,000 gives you 99%, according to them at least. So you can look at values like these, which again vary from study to study, but are all generally along the same kind of logarithmic scale, and choose what your hypothetical lemma count should be based on these. I choose 2,000 because for the sake of a creative project, I consider 2,000 enough to create a well-fleshed out lemma pool for a realistic language. So for the sake of this experiment, I'm going to use 2,000 as the magic number to pass in a word generator in order to consider a language creative and workable. So now the question is, what is the simplest phonology, simplest phonotactics, and fewest syllables required to create a language with at least 2,000 lemmas or root words? So let's go to a word generator. The one I'm going to use is GenGo. I'll link it in the description, and I've already made a whole video dedicated to it years ago. So check that out if you want to cringe at my 2020 video editing and my little beardless baby face. So now let's put in the phonology and the phonotactics of Central Rotokas. So again, pataka, badaga, a, e, I, o, u. Its syllable structure is literally CV with the C in the parentheses, and the longest word that I found in the Central Rotokas dictionary that I was looking at was 8 syllables. So I'm going to make 8 syllables the maximum amount of permitted syllables for a naturalistic, minimalist language. So what does this yield? Let's see. So right here I have the basic phonology, including long vowels distinction, even though it's debated whether or not long vowels are really a thing in Central Rotokas. I'm considering it a thing here for the sake of starting with a nice big example. We're on the GenGo sound change applier. Our syllable structure is just a general CV. Either diphthongs or like syllabically separated individual vowels are permitted, so I'm just gonna leave it exactly like this. Not every one of these words is going to be generated is an existing Central Rotokas word, but these are the possibilities. We're looking at this from a mathematical perspective. All of the permutations or combinations of this sequence here. Vowels definitely, consonants sometimes. I have the number of words to be generated set at 9,999 because that's the maximum that GenGo will do, but since the magic number we're looking at here is 2,000, as long as that number goes above 2,000, we are in the safe range for a language that could be considered naturalistic in the world. So if it goes to 9,999 and beyond, we know we're in the clear, so it doesn't really matter. I'm going to hit this generate button, and we're going to just see what we create. So let's see what happens with a maximum of 8 syllables. Takes a second. Takes a hot sec. Okay, there we go. Alright, so looks like there are 8,366 words. And every time it'll generate a slightly different number, but it's probably going to be around that same range. See, this time it did 8,347. So with those 16 phonemes, this extremely simple syllabic structure, and a maximum of 8 syllables with no duplicates, we get 8,300, somewhere around 8,300 to 8,400 possible words, which is still easily above the threshold. As long as it's above 2,000, we're good. What happens if I get rid of these long vowels? What if we consider long vowels to not be phonemic in Central Rotokas, but rather for there to just be 2 vowels next to each other at a given time? Okay, so look at that, 7,993. And then do it again, 7,979. So basically 8,000. Before we shrink the phonology anymore, I want to see what it looks like when we start shrinking the syllable count. So how about 7 syllables? Okay, still solid, 7,595. Okay, down to 6, 7,158. Okay, how about 5, 6,476. 4, 5,435. Okay, now we're getting into the small range. You know, you could keep it like this, but I'm gonna keep it smaller. I want to see where we cross that 2,000 threshold. Wow, okay, with 3 syllables as a max, we're down to 3,628. Alright, I do not think 2 syllables is going to meet this. Nope, there we go. So 2 syllables is not okay. With 2 syllables, you get to 1,044, which for a tiny language, like, could work. You know, you want to make something bigger than Toki Pona but smaller than Tamil, then yeah, I guess you could do that, but I would no longer consider that to be realistic, naturalistic. 3 syllables is the bare minimum with your 3,600 average number of words generated. Let's go back and let's go back up to our 8 syllables for now, right? Which should carry us, yep, at like the 8,000 range right there. What if we shrunk this down to a 3-vowel system? What does that look like with 8 syllables? Okay, 7,415. Alright. Let's get rid of Yeah, let's keep G for now, see what happens. Okay, yeah, alright. Confidently getting rid of G now. Boom, 7,000. With a phonology of P-T-K, A-I-U. We still have 7,000, which is in that range. But look at how cursed some of these words look. A lot of these aren't going to be valid. Look, that one's just like 4 U's in a row. That wouldn't happen in real life. So like realistically, I should be like filtering out triples and stuff. 7,024 still. Let's shrink down again. 7 syllable max. 6,000. Okay. 6 syllable max. Alright. 5 syllable max. Still good. 4 syllable max. Okay, so we're at 3,383 right here. Yep, there we go. Look at that. So, looks like 4 syllables is our minimum, with a phonology of P-T-K-A-I-U. Which, wow, is that so minimal. Like, the human mouth can do so many things, but these are, like, the most common of the consonants and the most common of the vowels. You could do whatever you want with these, but I'm just saying, like, realistically, this is the smallest kind of realistic thing that you could get. I took away oo and just had the vowels be ah and e, and we're like right below 2,000. Okay, it reaches 2,000 occasionally, but that's like the bare minimum. Look at that. Can't shrink it any more than that. Okay, so 5 phonemes up to 4 syllables. Simplest syllable structure. I'm pretty satisfied. I'm gonna stick with the previous one, but this works too. Only 2 syllables are required to relax Toki Pona. 4 syllables to get to that magic 2,000 number.
Glasses push. If you disagree with my calculations,
I'd love to see that too. Like seriously, I think this is a pretty interesting thought experiment, and just because this is my answer to the problem doesn't mean that it's the answer to the problem. Yeah, if I turn out to be dead wrong, at least I started an entertaining discussion. Please don't kill me. To wrap this up, I'm gonna use my Conlang speedrun method to quickly say thanks for watching in this super minimalist language that I created on there real quick. Alright, I'm gonna do a bastardized version of the Conlang speedrun method just to kind of make this finale here. There we go. I mean, tapa papa pio ka kuku itai tau pua I kapo tuku. Damn it, I forgot the end quotation mark. Thanks to everyone who submitted cursed conlangs last year, and you got like a month left to send me your submissions for the Cursed Conlang Circus 2. I've already gotten like dozens of really awesome submissions, so I can't wait to see what everybody else brings in. So send those in to me. As usual, thank you to all the lovely patrons for helping me through this chaotic journey that has been my YouTube life. Let's get to 8,000 subscribers, and then let's get to 10,000 subscribers and beyond. Yeah, good stuff. You all are cool and epic. Bye. Nuh is out. Mwah. Okay, real quick, I have to do one more thing. This is a reference to a meme from very early on in the history of the Agma Schwa Discord server the consonant and vowel phonemes. 2 phonemes in the whole language, any consonant and any vowel, with some clusters. Let's see how many words I could generate with this. About 5. Okay, now we're below the threshold. Around 439. Damn. Okay, well. Any consonant and any vowel. So if there's clusters, you just make them different consonants. And then if they're vowels, you could either make it just like a long vowel, or you could just put two different vowels next to each other. Call it a diphthong if you want. VCVV. That could be aqua. It could be ipi. It could be ogoa. Literally just any consonant, any vowel. Okay, bye.